Some people earn very well, sometimes far better than those around them. Yet you would never know it by looking at their lives. There is no visible lifestyle flex, no luxury signaling, no sudden upgrade that announces success. And that is strange, because modern culture teaches us that success should be visible, celebrated and shared. So here is the first uncomfortable question. If money equals freedom, why do some people actively hide it? Why would someone with financial security choose silence instead of recognition? And more importantly, what do they understand that others may not? If you think about it carefully, you probably know someone like this. They live modestly, avoid talking about income, and rarely participate in money discussions. Yet something about them feels different, calmer, more controlled, less reactive. This raises more questions. Are they just being humble? Are they afraid of judgment? Are they protecting something deeper? Or is hiding financial success not a weakness at all, but a form of intelligence? Consider a real modern workplace example. In many Western offices, two people can earn very different salaries while working side by side. One subtly upgrades their lifestyle. The other changes almost nothing. Same job, same schedule, same environment, but very different social experiences. The person who signals success begins to attract expectations, comparisons, and quiet evaluations. The one who stays quiet keeps autonomy. Money changes how people look at you. It changes how they speak to you, what they expect from you, and how they position themselves around you. And once that shift happens, it rarely reverses. This is where discomfort begins. Viewers start to recognize that this behavior is not about secrecy. It is about protection, of peace, of relationships, and of identity. Now ask yourself something honestly. If your income doubled tomorrow, who would you tell? And just as importantly, who would you not tell? Those answers reveal more than you might expect. This pattern is not random. It is psychological. It is social. And it is becoming increasingly common among high-income, high-awareness individuals. In this video, you will get clear answers. We will explain why hiding financial success can feel safer than displaying it, why visibility often comes with hidden costs, and why for some people, silence is not insecurity, it is control. By the end of this video, you will understand the real psychology behind this behavior. Not assumptions, not stereotypes, but the quiet forces that actually drive it. Once financial success becomes visible, it does something subtle but powerful. It changes your position inside social systems. Not dramatically, not immediately, but permanently. In Western societies, money is rarely discussed openly, yet it is constantly observed. People may not ask what you earn, but they notice where you live, how you travel, how you spend, and what you can afford to say no to. These signals quietly reshape how others relate to you. This is where many people begin to pull back. When success becomes visible, expectations quietly follow. Friends assume availability, family assumes support, colleagues assume confidence, resilience, and capacity. None of these expectations are spoken clearly, but they are felt consistently. This creates what can be called an expectation tax. Not a financial tax, but a psychological one. Every interaction begins to carry added weight. Saying no feels heavier. Setting boundaries feels colder. Neutral choices are interpreted as signals. For example, someone who openly appears financially comfortable may be asked for favors more often, judged more harshly for mistakes, or expected to handle pressure without complaint. Struggle becomes less acceptable. Vulnerability becomes less welcome. Another real-world example appears in professional environments. When colleagues believe you are doing well financially, your decisions are interpreted differently. A risk you take looks arrogant instead of brave. A boundary you set looks selfish instead of reasonable. The same behavior carries a different meaning once success is visible. This is where social comparison intensifies. People do not compare themselves to strangers. They compare themselves to peers. When your success becomes visible, you become a reference point. That comparison creates discomfort, and discomfort often turns into distance, subtle resentment, or quiet competition. Many people sense this shift before they can explain it. Conversations change, energy changes, Interactions feel slightly guarded. Nothing is openly wrong, but something is no longer easy. This is a key recognition moment. Viewers begin to understand that hiding financial success is not about fear or dishonesty. It is about avoiding unnecessary distortion in relationships. It is about preserving how people treat you, not how they see your money. For some, visibility feels like losing control of the narrative. Once labeled as successful, every action is filtered through that identity. The person is no longer just a friend, a colleague, or a family member. They become a symbol, and symbols carry pressure. This is why many financially successful people choose quiet consistency over visible progress, not because they dislike success, but because they value relational stability more than recognition. In the next part, we will go deeper into the emotional side of this choice. Not the social layer, but the internal one. The fatigue that comes from constant perception, management, and why silence often feels like relief. Beyond social pressure, there is a quieter reason many people hide their financial success. Emotional fatigue. Being perceived as successful creates a role you're expected to maintain. Once others believe you are doing well, there is an unspoken assumption that you are always fine, always capable, always composed. This removes a subtle but important human privilege, the ability to struggle openly. People who are seen as financially stable often feel they must manage not only their money, but also how others emotionally relate to them. Complaints sound ungrateful. Stress sounds exaggerated. Fatigue sounds like weakness. Over time, this creates internal pressure. You begin to edit yourself. You choose words carefully. You downplay wins and soften realities. Not to deceive, but to avoid reactions you do not want to manage. This is exhausting. Another real lived example appears in everyday conversations. When someone is known to be financially successful, their problems receive less empathy. A long workday becomes part of the deal. A difficult decision becomes a luxury problem. The emotional response changes, even if the experience has not. This creates a sense of isolation. Not loneliness in the traditional sense, but emotional distance. The feeling that certain thoughts cannot be shared freely, because they will be filtered through money before they are understood. Here is the recognition moment. Many people realize they are not hiding success to protect others. They are hiding it to protect themselves, to preserve emotional simplicity, to avoid constant recalibration of how they are perceived. Silence reduces performance pressure. When success is invisible, you are allowed to be human again. You can be tired without explanation. You can be uncertain without judgment. You can exist without representing an outcome. This is especially true in high-functioning environments where success becomes part of identity. Once labeled as doing well, stepping out of that role feels risky. Any vulnerability feels like a contradiction. So people choose quiet, not out of fear, not out of guilt, but out of emotional self-regulation. They understand that peace is not only about how much money you have, but how much of yourself you are required to manage publicly. In the next part, we will address the final layer, the conscious choice to stay private, and why for many people, hiding financial success is not avoidance but a deliberate form of control and psychological freedom. At this point, one thing becomes clear. Hiding financial success is rarely accidental. It is a conscious decision. For many people's privacy becomes a form of control. Not control over others, but control over their own mental and emotional space. When success is not visible, life feels quieter. Decisions feel lighter. Interactions feel more neutral. This is not about secrecy. It is about selectivity. People who hide their financial success are often very intentional about where they spend their energy. They understand that attention is not free. Every signal you send invites interpretation, expectation, and reaction. By staying private, they reduce noise. Another important shift happens internally. When success is not constantly reflected back by others, the mind stops performing. There is no need to maintain an image. No need to live up to a label. Identity becomes more stable, less reactive. This is especially valuable in long-term financial growth. People who remain quiet often think in longer timelines. They optimize for peace, consistency, and optionality rather than validation. Visibility offers short-term recognition. Privacy offers long-term calm. Here is the final recognition moment. Many viewers realize that their desire to hide progress is not insecurity. It is intuition, a signal that peace matters more than approval. That control over one's inner life is more valuable than external acknowledgement. This reframes the entire idea of success. Success is not just what you accumulate. It is what you are not forced to manage. Not every win needs an audience. Not every milestone needs confirmation. In modern financial culture, loud success is rewarded, but quiet success is often better protected. This is the deeper truth behind why some people hide their financial success. They are not afraid of being seen. They simply understand the cost of being watched, and they choose differently. This perspective is central to Mindvantic. We do not glorify wealth. We analyze its psychological impact. We focus on clarity, not display, on understanding, not performance. If this creates psychological freedom, if this video helped you recognize patterns you have felt but never articulated, that awareness is meaningful. It changes how you see money, identity, and control. Subscribe to Mindvantic for more content that explains the hidden psychology behind modern life. Here we do not chase attention. We study what attention costs.